Dom. Okay, the time is 6:31 with everybody stand for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful to be here tonight. Help us we may be able to see the ins and outs of the budget and that we may be able to use our wise decisions to help the city. Help us that we may always keep the citizens in mind and that we may be doing things for their benefit and not for ours. Please watch over us and keep us all safe, everyone in our city. And please help us that we may draw closer to Thee in all that we do. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow. Do you have any announcements?
I just want to let everyone know that we do have an updated copy of the water sewer budget with the actual numbers on it. And it is as of August 11th. So you're going to see it, some of those numbers you have concerns about are a lot closer.
Yes. Very good.
And we have another month and a half left in the year.
Right. So if you look at some of those numbers, and we got 6 weeks to go, we're going to meet and exceed those numbers. So
Super. Very good. Very good. Okay, the other announcement I have is this Saturday is the Movies in the Park for the Economic Development Corporation. They're saying come out about 8:30. The movie will start about 9. So we have another good movie for everybody. Then on the 24th of August, we have a meet and greet from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the golf course. For any business in town that would like to come out and meet the board members of the EDC. Any other announcements?
Just want to remind everybody about the email from the police department. I've told myself I was going to start doing that at every one of our meetings, so maybe it would get out, but it's tips@westwalkinpd.org. So all of our citizens, if there's something that they need to email the police department, they can do that. And it goes straight to them. And I think Sarge was trying to figure out a way to do some kind of app, right?
Yeah.
So he's
Can
trying
you
to,
repeat that again? Tips at West
yeah,
Walking?
tips@westwalkinpd.org. And like if there's a suspicious vehicle, you can email it to that with the license plate number, whatever you felt like whatever you saw. And they're monitoring it pretty closely. But Sarge was telling me, and he had asked me to mention it a while back. I told him yesterday I failed him because I didn't mention it. But he said he's also looking to try and make an app that everybody would be able to have access to.
I think it's a really good move for our police department and for our citizens. So please use it if you've got anything. Okay, moving right along, we have citizens input. Jane, you want to say something?
I do. And I have pictures which I'll leave for you all afterwards. And first I want to just say, I know how hard they work and I appreciate everything that they do. But I need to ask for your all's assistance in something. So on behalf of the citizens of Crestway Drive, I'd like to ask for the city to please step in and help clean up the area between Red Oak, Hemlock, and Crestway Drive. I have pictures here, as I said, which I'll make sure that I leave for you all. This is a developer and a development, which I'm assuming has been given building permits. Again, I'm also assuming that he has obligations based on those permits, one of which is to maintain a safe and clean working environment. As of today, there has been no movement progress or building activities on this property for 5 months. The partially built structures are deteriorating. The areas around are covered with tall grass, trash, and abandoned building materials. The greatest concern is the safety of the citizens on and around that area. The grass has grown up to such a height that it's virtually impossible to see oncoming traffic or pedestrians in the road. There are children who play in and around that area. There are commercial vehicles, trash trucks, postal trucks, of course, school buses now that travel up and down that road on a daily basis. It would be more than heartbreaking if a child were struck because the driver was unable to see around that tall grass. I know the city has resource and limitations, resource funds and limitation funds. However, I'm hoping that we can figure out some remedy that we can come up with for this problem. I'm sure letters have been written and I'm sure fines have been imposed. However, there has been no action on the part of the developer to this point. I would be happy to pitch in. However, I know my residential tools would be no match for the debris that I would be encountering. And I'm also sure that I would run a very high risk of litigation should I be injured while working on that property. So in closing, I would ask that you all please step in and do whatever we can in order to clean up at least the easements. And I do think from a budget standpoint, this does have some relevance because going forward, I think that somewhere in a line item, we need to have some sort of an abatement line, a blight abatement line or an easement abatement line, something that covers so that the citizens, at least from the easement standpoint, are protected.
Thank you very much.
I will leave these.
Yeah, I'm just curious, is this a spot maybe like where Keep Tawakoni Beautiful could actually be engaged without any liability?
You should, they're a great organization, but they have their own.
Jane, are you talking about that area where they built those new homes?
I'm talking about the area where they have started to build those new homes. They have 2 shells that have no exterior doors. They do have windows and they have 3 pads. There's also the developer also owns 2 pads that are up Hemlock or Red
yes.
Oak
I know
that-
what you're talking
he's abandoned for all intents and purposes.
about. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, then we're gonna go right back into the budget workshop.
Is this citizen input that should have been put in last week when it was canceled?
We did budget last week. We didn't have some of the other stuff on last week.
I just don't want to go through my list if this is the inappropriate meeting.
You can fill out a form and say anything you want, Fred.
Okay. First and foremost, we haven't had a P and Z meeting in 5 months. So I don't know, say that, I know it's probably not a big deal since we don't have a comprehensive plan. But when you come to the comprehensive plan, I'm wondering, I know it's not until October, are we hiring somebody to help build that?
As far as I know.
Okay, so if we're not gonna hire anyone to help build that, do we have anyone, put it this way, just 2 months ago, nobody sitting here even knew what a comprehensive plan was. So I don't see how you're possibly able to build one without some professional help. So I don't
So I
think
think
about that.
to not to answer his question, I think what he was asking as he was sitting down, then yes, his question would be, yes, this would be the wrong meeting, because in this setting, all that we can do is listen to him. Just so I make sure you understand
Okay.
that by laws,
Yeah, I'm used to it.
we can't converse.
And I would love to have another town hall meeting, but the other town hall meeting was nothing but a chat fest with no action items taken, so it was pretty much a waste of time anyways. So I guess we'll just keep trying to do what we do.
We can make a list of what you say.
Okay, as long as it gets on the record, I'll keep going for that.
Okay.
Okay, I heard the market on the lake, and there's a park committee might be merging. And if so, I'm already in too many groups, but if that would be the case, then I would be interested in making that merge with being on the city, on the park thing, because I'm also very, very interested in, I go to the park 5 times a day, so.
Please fill out an application for that.
Is that an application I need to pick up here?
Yes.
But that's also, again, I don't want to be too many groups, so if it's in the Mark on the Lake and another one, I don't want to be in too many. But if it merges, which seems like a sound idea, then great. I know I've come here quite a few times and I've actually been proud of my HOA, and the way they've kind of started from ground zero and made a lot of mistakes. I had to recently resign from them for a couple different reasons, but the last reason was because they signed a check to the city for $10,000 for some road work, and I haven't seen an SOW. And for me to not see a statement of work and a $10,000 check written and work executed and not a plan done is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life. So that's when I looked at Ramsey. I said, it's a step too far. I'm done. Congratulations to the ADC. I'm really proud to see their website. It's beautiful. And I did not go through all the planning, but just to see planning in some form done in this city put a big smile on my face. And that's after coming here for a year, watching all this. So thank you very much. I was really glad to see some planning being done. I don't know what happened last week, but as I told Jim, I'd rather have no website than a misinformed one. If we can't get updates in time and have people standing around making videos of why there's not even a sign on the door that says we're not having a meeting. I mean, it takes you guys 5 minutes. We waste hours sitting around out there. So, shame on me. The website security certificate. It's been bad for about 5 to 6 months. I let Pam know about it about a couple months ago. It did get fixed, kinda. Still popping up. I've been sending her screenshots. I don't know what you guys think, but when somebody goes to a website and says this is an unsafe place to go, I don't know what you think about that, but it doesn't leave me with a lot of comfort. That's what I got for now.
Start talking.
Thank you to the police department. They've been doing great. They patrol the neighborhood in a regular time, always very friendly, got a smile on their face and that friendly way.
Okay.
Couple minutes.
So what I'd like everybody to do is to look over the new water sewer budget that's been fixed real quick and see if there's anything that we want to address on it before we go on to general fund.
I would ask the council too, if we could start with park and roads, or roads and park. Don't go general
When we
fund.
got general fund, I'm sure we can do that. I'm sure we can. Really quick, look at that.
On the second page, 126-1119, the employee insurance, water sewer combined. Is that gonna be a gentleman?
Second page.
It's actually 126-1119, the combined. What was your question, Leon?
Well, it's got, you're proposing 137,000 out there. And we've only spent 29,000 of the 148 we budgeted
Well,
last
you have to
year.
combine the 29,785 with the 36,090, and we haven't paid our last payment right now.
Okay, the last thing I was saying, is there another big payment coming?
Yeah, there's another one coming, and it's gonna be closer to the budgeted line. It won't be, I don't think, quite that much, but it'll be close.
And I mean, we're going up on employee insurance. Does that reflect enough for the increase in rate? Okay.
Well, I think on that insurance, she's looking at the increase that they're telling us we're gonna have too, right? And there's an increase and then
Yeah, it's going
Yeah,
up
that's
again
what
this
I was
year.
asking.
we're gonna run a full year of a full staff of employees. You gotta take in consideration, we ran through quite a bit of time during this year without a full staff. So,
Right.
I mean, we've only had a full staff the last
Yeah, because think about last winter, you only had 4 as far as public works, so.
I just wanted to make sure we had enough in there for what they were increasing this year. Okay. You know, the other thing that I thought about all night after leaving here Monday is on the water line improvement and the sewer line improvement.
Right.
I really would like to see more money in there so that we can do more water line improvement.
Well, right now, as we stand, if we were to increase it, right now, $7,814 to the good. So if we increase those line items, then that's gonna put me either flat or in the red.
It's gonna put you in the red.
It'll either put me flat or in the red. So that's my only with it. And I definitely do not want to be in the red. But I think this year, like what I was saying the other night, is if we can make sure that this is strictly dedicated to just pipe, then I believe that that would be enough money. So in years past, I think it's been multiple things. So just making it line improvement, I think that would be more.
Because I want to see line improvement.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's my big deal is we've got all these old pipes and I want to see them out and the lines improved.
But in reality, I mean, this is really, and Michael, if I'm wrong, please step in on me. In reality, this city and probably almost any city is not gonna have in their budget line item an amount of money that really makes a true impact on line improvement in their city. All cities depend on grants.
Well, we know that,
All
and we know that.
So, I
But
mean,
there's no reason why for us to not budget for some of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
but for us to have a noticeable for you and I, or for the general public to notice it, that number would probably have to be somewhere in the 60 to 80 to $100,000 range.
Watch, and that's the reason we're always looking for grants.
And I'll use just one example. You know, to do Arrowhead, I think was 10, 15 years ago. It was right around 1.2 million then.
Yeah.
Now it's looking closer to 2.
Correct.
So, and that's just one neighborhood.
I understand that, but I hate dropping it from what we had it last year from 15,000 down to 10,000.
Well, so we could take water up to 12,000 and take sewer up to 7,000.
Let's do that.
That would increase it a little bit.
What would give us a little bit more to use.
I did a little research after it was mentioned to me, and it did seem like there was a mathematical equation where you mentioned like if you fix one spot and then you fix 20 feet on each end of it, that the rate of consumption of getting it done in a cheaper fashion. And again, I don't have the mathematical equation, but it did come up on at least 3 sites that was the proper way of slowly rebuilding your infrastructure.
Right.
I don't know how you fit that into your budget. But you gotta start somewhere.
You fit in
Well,
your
and
budget.
that's-
I
that's
the
doing-
same.
Yeah, you fit in your
That's exactly
budget,
how I-
yeah, you fit in your budget just like it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just what we're doing.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what these guys do, when they don't go in,
And just replace one foot.
right.
Okay,
The only time they do that is when it's just, say it's an actual connection broken out.
Yeah, or a
They
very
fix that
small
connection.
service line.
I just heard that and did a little research and said, oh, that makes sense.
Anytime it comes to the main line, we never less than 1 stick. We try to.
Each stick is how long?
It depends on what you're doing. If it's water, it's usually about 20 feet. If it's sewer, it's usually about 14 feet.
See, that's what I've read too, so,
And it does start to chisel away at it. It just takes time.
or hopefully away at it.
Right.
Anybody else with anything?
Do. I talked to Mike before we came in tonight, and I asked him, and I also asked the chief and Shannon, about, I don't know if anybody's been kind of watching what the weather's gonna do here in the next few weeks, but it is going to be brutally hot. And so I want to make sure that if we have a place in this budget, that we can have supplies for y'all there to keep you hydrated, to keep you cool. whatever you need, I would like to see us.
Well,
add
first let
that
me
to
say
y'all.
thank you. I'm grateful.
And I
for
know
you.
that a lot of people bring things to y'all, but I don't want you to. If
Well,
you need
about,
it, we need to
I want
provide
to say it
that.
was 2 weeks ago now, I bought a half pallet of mixed Gatorades.
Okay.
Right now, as it stands, they go through what is it, the 36 pack? They go through 1.5 of those a day, the entire public works department. So they knock down a pallet over about 2 months. But now we've got a half a pallet of Gatorade, which, if I did the math correctly, should carry us into September.
You got a drop off spot?
The water plant, right there, you know, where our bay doors are,
Or the city hall.
or City Hall.
Yeah, if anybody can do that that's listening, please do that for these guys. They work so hard. We see you
I
out there.
appreciate
It's
that,
just
because
so
I'm
hard.
telling you right now, by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, they are.
Oh, I'm
with
sure.
it.
And
They're with it.
you said you've got some pop-up tents to put over holes. and
Yes,
stuff
sir.
once
We
you
bought
get through
2.
digging. Yeah.
Yes, sir, we bought 2.
And same thing for you, Shannon and Chief too.
Not as much as we did.
Anything else?
I'm going to agree. And we did.
Anything else on the water budget?
No.
Okay, let's move along to the general fund then.
If it's okay with council, can we go right to roads?
Yes.
I'm a little embarrassed. The other night I said I didn't have them, and I actually had them buried deep in my little portfolio here, so. And if we can, I'd like to start with 174-102.
That's on page 6, no, page 7.
Remember all your pages. It'll be-
On page 7.
All right, so on 174-102, originally we thought we would plan that for 22,950, but when we sat back down and looked at the math, we were way under. So what we're asking for 174-102 with contract labor is 35,000.
And can you tell us what all that entails?
That entails the contractor that we bring out who uses his equipment, who works the roads for us, and that's his labor. Now, one of the things that we're adding to this year, which, you know, I don't want everyone to stand up and start clapping at the same time, but we're adding ditches to this budget. So with that being said, when we did a little bit of math and looked at it, 35, in my opinion, would be the minimum to cover all the labor needed to do ditches this winter, and then of course roads again, you know, next road season. So, Kevin, any thoughts?
Just make sure you clarify what ditches. I don't want everybody to think we're gonna put a ditch throughout every road in the city. in
Well, just
1
like
year.
with,
Because
so,
that's not possible.
so just like,
As we're working on roads that need ditch work, we'll have ditch work done by this contractor rather than trying to depend on these guys not fixing leaks or chasing whatever they're having to chase and then get back behind or in front of them. So this contractor will do the ditch work and the road as needed.
and
Does this
I'm,
also include the meter reader?
no,
Okay,
that comes out of water sewer.
Yeah.
That comes out of water sewer. Okay, I
So-
just want to clarify.
I'm sure, and I've seen all of you drive around and observe your town. I'm sure all of you have seen the roads that we got accomplished this year so far, which is, if you think back over many years, we have accomplished far more roads this year than ever. With that being said, if we add the ditches to it, I just think in the next 5 years, we're in a completely different place. And we don't have citizens who feel like we don't care. So anyways, so I'm asking the council if we can change that to 35,000. And then, you know, after, when you're ready to move on, I'd like to move to 174-121. Rock,
Y'all good with that?
Yes, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
thank you, council. Rock, 174-121. Originally, we thought 48 would be enough. Well, when we did some math, so the cost of rock and reclaim asphalt, all that has doubled again. So when we sat down, took the new numbers and did math, there's no way we can do it for less than 60 for rock. Unless we're willing to cut out some roads.
You're asking for 60.
Yes, sir. The very next line item, which is 174-122, street paving material. Again, the cost has gone up. So before we got the new numbers, we we thought 38.5 would work. With the new number, it would have to be 50.
And like, I honestly don't want to be too harsh because I really wanted to wait to see a statement of work.
By the way, I'm not supposed to answer that now, but I'll give you an answer. I put it in his mailbox today.
Okay.
We have to wait for all these invoices to come in. And some of these folks don't give us an
Invoices,
invoice.
aside from a statement of work.
Oh, okay. Well, he's got that as well.
Okay. So I'll read the statement of work, then I'll get.
Yeah, absolutely, you should. All right, so we're asking for 60 in rock, 50 in street paving material. And then if you go one more line down, which is the 174,123, instead of 3,000, we're asking for 4,000.
There is no
174,122.1.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Wait. I'm looking at my rough draft and y'all have the, mine's pretty. This is the one we're talking about right here.
Street
Street
repairs.
repair.
Okay. If they've got it under 174,122.
That's not in our place. It is the third street repairs, you're right. Yes, yeah.
And how much are you asking?
4,000.
Business page right there. Should be 36.
So far, I'm asking you guys for bigger numbers, but I want you to know that this is all based on new pricing. Oil sand is gonna go up again from $82 a ton. It's gonna go up to around $100 a ton. Rock right now is fixing to go up to $27 a ton, and it was $17 a ton. We were able to get them to give us some price breaks this year. We were very fortunate. Like for instance, they gave us some for $21 a ton. Oil sand, they came down and gave it to us for $76 a ton versus $82 a ton. But they're not going to do that again. So, yeah, it's getting ridiculous now. And we're just talking about
Well, you know, my thing is on, we want to try and get the roads
They keep biting off.
better. Yeah.
thank you.
What does a new stop sign cost? Just the sign?
It has gone up from $112 to $139 or $141.
Can we start using that $1,000 to replace some of them?
We actually ordered some. We have a few more now in stock. We just got.
Okay. Some of them are pretty bad.
Yeah, and actually the state changed the size now for even residential, a bigger sign.
So it costs more. Yeah. I'm okay with those changes.
If you see one bad, you know, by all means, call Tammy and ask her to put a work order for it. She's got that crap down.
So everything else you guys see far as the road budget, those are the only changes that we needed to make. Everything else was good as is.
Question, Kim, 174,998, why is it not showing Rabbit Cove Road City?
She hasn't, because we hadn't decided for sure how we wanted to name the line item. If we wanted to put in, you know, donated material expense or HOA funding or.
Well, the HOA funding should not go for that line. HOA funding should go for donated material expense.
Yeah, that's what we talked about
To
one
the
day.
HOA, so it wouldn't
Material
affect the payment for Rabbit Cove.
Right, that's two different things.
It's
Yeah.
way two different things, so we should have something here in the proposed budget instead of just a blank line.
So you're talking about the Rapid
The
Cove
road.
Road Grant and our road work that was
The
done.
city match, yeah.
Yeah, the city mansion.
I got kind of a crazy question here. Stop me. But I know like when our HOA got done, we got another layer, and in my opinion, a lot of it that wasn't needed. I'm just wondering how hard would it be to take, so a lot of this, there's a lot of buildup over the years, 4 or 5 layers with 4 to 5 layers of holes into it as well. And at some point, doesn't it make sense to just dig it all, scrap it back up, grind it back up, and
You reclaim
re-asphalt
it.
it?
Yeah, you reclaim it.
Yeah,
So you chew up the road.
chew up the road.
So like for
flatten it
instance,
back
right in
up.
front of your house, right? So you've got 6 inches of rock and then you've got
It
several,
looks great, but I didn't need it.
you got several years of oil sand.
Yeah.
And what we did is we capped it with reclaimed asphalt, which the summer is gonna set hard as rock.
Right.
But yeah, there's certain places we can do it, but right there, that would be an expense nightmare. To chew it all up and relay it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just was hoping
Yeah.
that maybe there's spots we can go and just say, you know what, let's just rip it out, get it back to base, and then relay it back down.
It's very expensive. So even if you were saying, like, just cut a section of road, rip all that out and lay a new road, that's, especially right now with the way the economy is, you're talking, that's a nightmare.
So if we had the equipment at our fingertips.
And that would change it a little bit, yeah, because a reclaimer, that's, ooh,
It's very expensive.
it's very expensive.
Is the county, do we ever get opportunities to work with county and borrow some of this? stuff?
We have tried over
Well,
the
you can't borrow their equipment, no.
No,
The only time,
They have to come out and do
Yeah.
it, and they won't do it on you know,
that's a hit or miss.
yeah, you gotta sit and negotiate.
And the problem is they're just as busy with their equipment at
Yes.
the right time of the year that we were going hard to use.
Right.
Spring through summer,
So they don't have
busy,
time.
busy.
They
Yeah,
can't-
they are.
They can't part with it.
So do we need, I guess you're gonna check into that one, right? Because it looks like to me that should have 19,353.84. Because we gotta pay that, that'll be that same match.
How much was it?
nineteen,
Should be the same thing. I mean,
Same as the actual.
because that's what we pay for.
Yeah.
For you. Pay it back.
If you guys don't have any other questions about roads, I'd like to move the park.
Okay, anybody have any questions, or just have to change the amount of proposed budget?
It's a pretty significant change
It
across the
is a
board,
pretty significant
It is.
change.
especially adding that 19 in there.
Do you happen to add that? For that part?
36, we can come up with between 35 and 36.
That would be
And
great.
then you gotta add the 19 on that.
Come on, yeah.
43, 653, 84. That includes the 19.
So 43, 63, 84, including the 19,3,
Would you say that one more time? 43, 653.
84.
Thank you. It's a little hard to hear in here. Just to be sure.
I feel like I'm talking real loud, so.
No, you're not.
Yeah, quick, let's
Fan over
I'm
it.
sorry, man, we can't really hear you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, you want to go on to Parks Department then?
Yes, please, if we can. 1.78.000, Parks Department.
1.8. What it is.
1.78.
Right down to wheel work.
Yes.
78.000, the total on this. It's on that same page.
What you got,
What
Mike?
you got?
So the first one I want to talk about is, let's see here. Well, first, let me address the elephant in this particular situation. So, we had a couple of different park hosts that we've tried, that didn't work out the way that we had hoped. So I'm debating on, do we try this again, this next spring, and I save this salary that I have down here for $3,000, or do we keep it on Public Works? Now, keeping it on Public Works, of course, they're keeping up with it right now. In my opinion, the park has been maintained. But with that being said, it does take away from other duties. So it's kind of something that we need to figure out. Do we want to have a park host during the summertime, or do we not? That's my first one. With that being said, if we're going to keep that $3,000 in that line item, there's a couple of other places that I would like to increase it. The first one would be 178,113. park playground equipment repair and maintenance. Some of our equipment is in, desperate need of attention. Our barrel roll, we had to take it down. I want to say before spring started, it became a serious safety hazard. The slides got to be replaced. So we definitely have some things that need to be addressed. So do we want to spend our money there? Or do we want to have it divided up between having a park host and fixing some equipment?
I guess I'm a little confused because at the moment we have a park host, right?
No, sir, he's done.
Okay,
He's done.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, we've been busy. I haven't had a chance to really catch up with you.
So what are the actual duties of the
Yeah,
park
he's gonna be
host?
leading the park.
What are the actual duties? They're there for maintenance, to mow?
They're there to
Do they
mow,
check the
weed,
park-
clean the bathrooms, put toilet paper in it, pick up trash, find empty barrels, and of course, chase away the night stalkers.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably 50% of it.
So you're saying y'all are doing the majority of that?
We're helping. We're helping because it's proven to be a lot in the summertime for one person to be out there when it's 114 trying to keep up with it. So it's helped for us to shed a couple of guys his direction to help him.
I can personally say from the guy that walks the park once, twice a day, I pick up a lot less garbage. So that part's been good. But also these weeks, so I was wondering on the website, when you submit a request, I was gonna bitch about it, but I actually got the box put in my water meter today, so I'm like, oh, it did work. Because that was like 3 months ago. But I also submitted another one about a week ago. It's like, can we get a trash can out by the point? Because my wife and I, we picked up a whole bunch of trash and was like, what do we do? So we just end up leaving it on a bench.
So we had one out there. It's gone. It's been gone. I did see that. We were going to put one out there. But see, our problem is do we go fix a lift station or take the time to go take the 10 minutes to put a trash can out there? So the guys every morning are getting a list to get things done. Things like that, we try to get that towards the end of the day before we leave. Unless we fall behind on something else.
So I think
So it's not that we don't want to do
You
it.
need to revert back to the trash.
I'm just saying, I think there's a
can.
lot of citizens that are more willing to help, but when they find out they've got a place to put it, they're gonna go.
Sure.
Well,
And the whole reason why we took all those trash cans away.
The dumpster
Are
is
you,
there.
are you talking about by the boat ramp? How
Yes.
about- There's a dumpster there.
There is, but if you're out there by the,
I'm gonna tell you right now, we've already went through this.
okay,
Yeah.
We used to have, probably 10, 15 trash cans?
No, sir, we had 24 trash
Okay,
cans.
24 trash cans, and I'm gonna tell you, our park was a complete trash mess.
We couldn't even keep up.
Because here's what people do with trash cans. They fill them up, and then they get dumped over by dogs, whatever. And so, I mean, I don't want to take credit for it, but I'm going to say it was my idea. I said, pull the freaking trash cans up. Take them away.
And that cut the
And
trash.
I'll
in
just
half.
bring bigger bags
And-
with me then.
And what I'm saying is it made we still have a trash problem sometimes, but it wasn't spread out amongst the whole park at
No,
every single
wasn't.
receptacle.
And to be perfectly
So-
honest with you, it wasn't that bad, but and I don't got to the point a lot. I got to the point once every week, 10 days. Then, you pick up a pair of socks, a couple pairs of underwears, some beer bottles.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
There's a dumpster out there. isn't
Yeah,
there?
There
There's
is.
a dumpster,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to carry it all the way to the
Most
dumpster.
of that
That's
is coming
for
from,
responsible people that'll use the dumpster.
Yeah.
If you had 10 trash cans sitting there, some people still throw it on the ground.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, we improved
You
that.
know,
We
so-
did go through that, and it was proven.
It
Yeah.
proved itself.
It-
It's better not to have them there, and that's
Yeah.
sad, but it has proven that.
It sucks.
And I've had the same thing happen in my business. I had 10 trash cans out there in front of the store, and just that's all we did was empty trash can.
Yeah.
SRA did the same study.
Cut it down.
They
to-
did,
to 2.
and they removed almost
And
all theirs.
That's
don't
why
have
we
any
don't
trash.
see them at the 2 mile boat ramp.
But you gotta get them someplace they can put it.
Yes.
As long as
How
they
about
know
this?
there's somewhere the responsible people will take it.
How
there.
about we get a place where you can at least pull some trash bags so we can actually take it out?
I've actually looked at that, and I'll get with you on that. I've got a thing that it's a little stand that you put a roll in, you can pull them. The only thing that scares me about that is, are they just gonna throw them on the ground like they used to, so.
And again, I don't,
Or
I
take them
don't-
home.
I'm gonna move along.
I just only hear the little dog.
I'm gonna move
They
along,
don't have
guys.
just responsible.
I'm gonna move along real quick.
Sorry,
Okay,
go ahead.
so the question we really have on the table is whether we want a park host or not.
A part of what?
What are the other three options?
I want to take the $3,000 and put it in other places where we can actually do some things.
So the park host is not actually taking the reservations, they're coming
No,
to
I
the
have
city.
someone else doing that,
You
and she
do?
is doing a phenomenal
Okay,
job.
okay.
Then just move it. If you think y'all are gonna be able to take care of the park, then just move it.
Well, if
Yeah.
you think about it, for years, we did, when, you know,
Yeah.
especially when Randy wasn't around and we lost Randy, so.
Is there someone going to be there in the evenings to watch for the transients that are coming through and
Well,
destroying the bathroom?
Right,
They do.
right. So there will be someone who opens and closes the park, but I'm gonna ask my teammate over here if he will go back to how when we had them patrol the park, they had to go to the gate and they just drive it and then leave the
I've
park.
seen them out there many times.
How much advertising
And
do
do
we
you
do
feel
for
like you
that?
can kind of,
I
do
mean,
you have enough
as far
people
as the
that you
RV
can
park.
actually watch that at night?
Well, that's coming up, my buddy.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
coming up.
Okay.
Because I know my mom and dad are gonna be here for three weeks in February, so.
John, do y'all lock the park at night too, or is that the park? host?
Yeah, well, the park host has been doing it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but traditionally what we do with no park host is whoever's on call swings by and closes
Okay.
it.
And I have seen Blake make nightly runs.
Oh,
at
yeah.
night and so forth.
He's just been encountering some pretty tough situations here lately.
So-
Out there.
So you wanna take the 3,000 and split it how?
I want to take the 3,000 and I want to add for playground equipment repair and maintenance. I want to put 2,000 or increase that to 3,000 from 1,000.
So you got 1,000 left.
Yes. And then I want to, on park improvements where it's 2,000, I want to make that 3,000. So between those two line items together, improvement, repair and maintenance, that's $6,000. To me, it seems like we might actually be able to do something because when we only have $2,000, you can't buy a slide for that. You can't buy nothing for that. 2,000
Playground
is just not.
equipment is
Very
extremely
You can't buy a slide to replace that one anyway.
No,
You're
I
gonna have
checked
to
on
make
slides. Cheap slide was $6,200.
Actually, you got another price.
I think, yeah,
Probably have it repaired. How long that last?
2, 3 years. or
Yeah, it
4
lasted a
years or-
few years.
Yeah. If they quit riding skateboards down it, it'd last a long time.
Yeah, but it's so hard to catch them doing it.
I
They know
know.
when we're not around.
Well, I know this is kind of maybe opening it up into a bigger discussion. Please tell me if I'm ratting hole in it too bad. But isn't part of this one, the Market on the Lake, this new city park event group, and they're making money at the park and so forth, which, and for me, for one, I think they should be putting the money back into the park. And there should be a park fund and how that money's gonna be utilized in the future. And especially and if I'm looking, just this time I moved here, when I got here under a year and a half ago, that park road was perfect. Now it's a shambles. And not only is it a shambles, but it's been repaired once and it's already got red marks, try to repair the repairs. That can't be cheap. And this has got to be, I don't know what's going on, but I see huge loss of money on somewhere stupid.
Yes, you need to risk all the other roads in here. All right,
Well, I
let's-
can't
let's
speak for
move
how the road
around.
was done, but you definitely want a road that's got some thickness to it.
And I think, and and honestly, and I checked, they we drive the engines on there. And I wasn't sure if we were
Are we
being
done
part
with
of
the
the problem. I couldn't see
I
it.
think so.
So do we want to just go back to
I
the
couldn't
first
see
page?
what I heard.
That's
Go back to the
Start from the first page and work our way.
I don't know.
I think so.
This
So
is a mess.
we're done with the park.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. I
Going back to
appreciate
the
it.
first page.
Going back to the first page. Okay,
So anywhere in the parks, is the road's gonna get fixed?
Yes, we were actually efforting that this fall, so.
any questions on first page?
So now on our,
Second page.
hey, on our taxes, with our reduced tax rate that we had, are we gonna have an effect there, do you think?
I think that we're gonna go into the no rate increase, so we'll look at those.
And it still drops every day.
I know, that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, I know we're gonna end up going with that, right, just to keep it
Keep your budget in that.
right, and what I'm afraid is if we do that, we're gonna have a reduction in our rate, if I understand correctly. So, are we sure that we're gonna be spot on? I mean, we're gonna have a few more houses this next year
We're pretty close.
that should hit.
We'll be pretty
close.
close. We'll be really close. And actually looking at that law, it probably won't even fit this year. It'll probably
Maybe
be
next year. And then, what about our sales tax? I mean, I know we had one business fall out.
I think we can still fit what we're gonna do. And the next year we should have some new businesses.
We had one fallout, two come in.
Yeah,
We had the
but
bake shop come in, and now we've got the new resale shop that just opened up.
I think we were getting a pretty decent amount out of
Oh,
fat
sure.
cats, I think.
Back
But I think the resale shop. will make
Right.
up for it.
back cats.
No.
We were getting, that's what I'm talking about, we were getting a decent amount of sales tax out of them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of is, which social media is really trying to push them to come back.
Right.
It would be nice. I wish they would. I mean, it seemed like it was a good thing for everybody. We enjoyed it a lot too.
I have a question on 1.52 dash, I'm sorry, 122 reinspection and then the next one in line. Is there some reason, I wasn't here when you did the budget last year on that.
We don't do
have those
no.
anymore?
No,
That's very
when-
rare.
before we got BV,
Okay,
we were doing re-inspections.
okay.
That was kind of the reason why we went to BV because
Now,
the
I will
the
say-
re-inspections were being self-created.
some of the re-inspections, we have builders that are failing inspections over and over and over, and they have been told that if they cannot pass them within so many inspections, they will be charged for re-inspections.
That's understandable. I mean, but that's gonna
Because
be,
they're coming out over and over and
right,
over.
but that's gonna be very few and far between, right? I mean, is it happening a lot?
It's happening a lot.
But that money goes to Veritas or anything else, right? And they do the re-inspection. It does come through us.
Goes to us.
But we
They
have
do
to
not charge us for re-inspections.
I just.
So are we
appreciate that I wasn't
going,
here
are
last
we
year.
making any income then?
I have not done that yet. I just made it known to them that because it was becoming a problem, that if it continues, they will be charged.
So if it becomes a problem, but will Veritas actually end up at some point charging us for it?
They said no.
Thank you.
I guess if you end up putting something in that line item, then we won't be mad. But something positive somewhere.
Yeah.
Are we on the second page?
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, I had 152,127, no. We budgeted 2,500 and we didn't use any. So we're rebudgeting again.
Yeah, that was one of my questions too.
Yeah.
Is they charging for mowing?
Shannon, that's gonna be you, I think.
The people that are paying.
Who are we charging for mowing?
Right now, we're not, I don't have anybody to know. I've got a couple of contractors that have businesses that are supposed to be bringing me some parts that we can actually run background on, because I can't take a contractor who has, records and say, go mow this people's property. We do have right now a section, I've set a deal out for people to put business cards in though. So random people, they do stick business cards up there for whoever to take. It's not on recommendation, they're there, they can grab them. People are doing that a lot, using those business cards right now. But we do have to find somebody that can do mowing.
So you think you will get that kind of income when they do start doing this next spring? So,
And do these mowers have to be certified, or can they just be volunteers?
That's it, they pay.
Just whoever knows yards, as far as I know.
What do you mean by certified?
Well, do they have to be general, do they have to be licensed and for the business, or?
Well, they have to be insured as a company. If basically what this line item is if the city has a property out there that does not mow their property and we keep sending them citations, then Shannon can send somebody out and mow it, with city would pay them, and then we pretty much put a lien against their property.
And with that being said, I recently learned that the state of Texas does not require that contractors have insurance.
I know a couple of guys with a couple of tractors and a couple big blades.
Where did that come about?
They do not require it. It is not a state
I'm
requirement.
gonna say,
what is our
Well, but the
liability if
city
we send
can
someone
require
out
it.
there
Yeah,
that's
the
not,
city can.
The city
Binding
can
or
put it in their
license.
ordinance and require it.
what does that do to our liability if someone's not bonded or licensed that we're sending to someone's home?
We can require it, but
It
the
holds
state
us
does
responsible.
not
Well,
require
can't we
it.
just have them sign a waiver?
That waiver's probably about as good as a piece of paper it's written on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a broken record with this. Shannon, I'm gonna ask you, call your neighboring cities, find out who they use to do their mowing, because call Quinlan, call East Tawakoni, call Wilson Point, say, who do y'all use to mow your properties that you need mowed that people aren't mowing?
And it would make sense for the city to protect themselves.
yes, it
Yeah.
will.
And you can also dig in a little further when you ask them, hey, do y'all require them to have insurance or blah, blah, whatever, but call your neighboring cities. I'm a big fan of not reinventing the wheel when other people have wheels that are rolling. Not to say you can't put a different little shine on yours than theirs, but
Speaking of,
Well, you gotta have the insurance, if they go out there and tear something.
God, that's what I was thinking.
And we're gonna be responsible.
going off that last comment, I had heard, just through the grapevine, that Quinlan had recently gotten a city project manager. And I don't know if that is a person that we might be able to leverage to help with this comprehensive plan.
But we're off topic, we talk about that
I
right
think-
now. We need to get.
I think once we get to that meeting and we start digging into that, then we can figure all that out. I mean, I think trying to figure out something that we've already planned a time to figure it out, figuring it out ahead of time is,
Yeah, don't give up on them questions.
Yeah.
It's not the right place. We definitely need to be asking. Definitely.
We'll just-
Okay.
I'll keep going.
All right. All right, so anything else on that, those line items, that anyone has any questions on page 2?
so no one can figure out. What is this inspections? What is it?
You just answered earlier that said
Under the
that
top.
The very top one, the inspections,
Yeah.
it just says inspections, it's not re-inspections.
So you have your re-inspections
On the first
and then your
page.
inspections. Your re-inspections come first so that they fall together.
don't we have
So that's all under permit at this point.
Yeah.
on the permit?
So do we even need that line item is what I'm asking,
No, it,
because there's nothing on it.
We haven't used it the last 2 years.
because it's all under permit.
So can we get rid of that line item and start cleaning this thing up a little bit? I mean, re-inspections, do we need to keep it?
It should be
I
under
think we're gonna
permits
end up
also.
using it.
Shouldn't it be under permits also?
So you think we're going to end up using that, or do we just leave that over in, I don't know.
I think re-inspections you'll end up using.
Alright.
Inspections, I think, could probably go away, because like I said, that's all tied into your permit at this point.
Right.
So I have a question, 152130 equipment sales. What equipment are we planning on selling this year?
I'm guessing trucks.
Well, no, that's water sewer. Yeah, that's not.
So
That would be under there. So what equipment do we have under general fund that we're planning on selling
For $9,000.
for $9,000?
General fund.
I don't have the answer.
And I do have a question too while you are thinking about
We don't have
that.
any general fund equipment to sell, do we?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware
So,
Would be, probably, I guess he's thinking, the two old police vehicles.
of. That would
That would be under your budget,
Under
right?
your budget, wouldn't it?
Yeah, oh, I thought this was income, general fund income.
It's general fund income, but
Yeah,
it would still
that
go
would-
to your income.
well, all of it
All of
goes
it all
to,
goes
it all goes to
All
general
of
fund
it goes
income,
to-
even,
Under my police department, it's just what expenses are.
Yeah.
This is-
Oh,
So
I
that's
see.
gonna be your old squad cars.
Yeah, that's what that
That's
was.
what that would be.
Okay,
So we're proposing that and, some of the old equipment and stuff, like all their cages and stuff out there and other things that
okay.
I use, not to interrupt you, I got a question. So 1.52.169 CSI inspections, should that not be water sewer? It's water sewer, and it's a water sewer issue, and it's done by water sewer. So I was going to ask the council, shouldn't we move that to water sewer? Why would that be general fund income?
You don't have anything on water sewer for that?
No, it needs to move to water sewer because it'd be the same as if you got a water sewer tap. It would be water sewer, it would be general fund.
Maybe it goes in general fund, and I'm just talking out loud.
Do what?
Maybe she's putting in general fund the inspections that are paid out of DD.
Yeah, but they pay for their they pay for their CSI separate.
Yeah,
So,
but you're not performing that necessarily for a water sewer, you're performing that for.
We are.
Well, you're performing that for an inspection that's required by the city. It's a
But it's
general
water
fund, it's a
sewer.
general fund performed inspection. Although, yes, you work for water sewer, but you also work for the city of West Tawakoni.
That's not the
Same.
direction I was taking it. It's water sewer. When I go in and do the CSI inspection, I am inspecting water and sewer.
I understand that. And when DV goes in and inspects all the water and sewer in the slab, that's water sewer, but that inspection fee doesn't get paid to water sewer, it gets paid to permits.
That's a different situation. in my
It's the same thing.
Okay.
It's just an inspection. It's literally just a CSI inspection. I would think that would be, I mean, God, that's probably been there forever.
Right, and I believe it's in the wrong place.
So if we put it in water sewer, then what would we do with it there?
Well, it would go to water sewer.
You would get the money.
Just like a water tap, a sewer tap, a road board.
Okay, do you have any, can you ask if that money is moved from that line item? Because it could be.
Yes.
I mean, it could be moved in the back door.
Right.
I mean, if it is, and if we can just take that line item and move it to water sewer instead of having to make the change, because then that would take a task away from y'all. So we can ask, I guess we need to ask, what is that money used for? Where is that money applied?
I mean, even, so if you notice, I didn't bring up, for instance, grease trap inspections. Even though that ties to the sewer. I wasn't so much concerned about grease trap inspections as I was a CSI, which in my opinion is more water sewer related than a grease trap inspection. Although even that one could be considered water sewer.
I think you got that backwards.
It's only $425, that would work.
Your grease trap inspection is way more related to
Yes.
water sewer than the CSI, but I can clearly understand, and it's a subconscious interest that you have, is because one's $425, the other one's $9,200. So, I mean, I get it. I would want $9,200 more in my budget too. I mean, it makes sense. I understand, but I promise you, the grease trap is way more
I don't issue CSI. I charge
water
for it,
sewer.
but I don't issue it.
than the CSI.
So just remember, if we move that, that's $9,200 we don't have in general fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and from my understanding, other cities, the CSI is done by BB.
We do our.
Right, we do our own.
Right, I'm just saying, and from my understanding, in other cities, the CSI is done by BB and it's part of their inspection.
It does
Right.
save us money.
That's true.
It's like literally part of the same inspection fees that we're already paying.
That's true. In other cities, it is done that way.
Moving on to page 3.
So we'll find out where that money goes. I guess that's the first way to figure that out.
Oh, I have one on that last page, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
152-145, CT tech fee, what is that?
I'm sorry, one
We had 1,300 budgeted, but we didn't spend it.
152, 145, CT tech fee.
We've been doing 1,300.
Yeah, what is that?
court technology, I think.
Oh, yeah. Court tech.
Or my court tech fee. If we have to replace computers or upgrade our PCRS.
I don't know.
Sure.
So we need to leave that alone.
Yes, sir.
Page 3 now. or what?
Yeah. No, we're expecting some legal fees. I mean, are we expecting some next year? We were budgeted 5, we didn't use any. We're budgeted 5 again,
Because
Previous year.
he's been being paid out of
just in case.
admin, but now he's fixing to be paid out of court admin.
Okay, so with his increase, we'll pay some from the court fee and some from admin.
Yes. Using C as the third portion of it.
Yeah, and then we pay our portion. Anything else on 3? Let's go to 4. Have one. Administrative City Secretary, 166-105 dot. No, 105.
I'm gonna say dot one, that's not right.
I think we need to increase Kim's salary. She's supposed to be the boss over all these people, and I think she needs to be paid to reflect that. Okay.
This personnel issue.
Yeah, we gotta be careful.
Is this a personnel issue?
Yes, I know, we have to be
Can we
careful.
discuss it?
Maybe we should go to, executive session.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, it's all gonna be public record. I mean, you just figure out what you wanna raise that line item to.
I'm just all we're doing is coming up with a number.
Well, I mean, that's another thing you gotta realize is, that would be, I mean, that would be something you need to talk to her about.
So I think we need to go to an executive session.
She is hourly, I think, does everybody understand that?
Yes, we do. I think we need to go to an executive session and discuss this. So the time is 7:36. We'll go to executive session.
Thank you. You know, if I need anything?
Well, I'll let Bill know. I just want to go.
And we're gonna pause it.
We will have, Forget it.
Okay, the time is now 7:42. We're returning from executive session. Okay, so we would like to change that line item to 52,000. Okay.
Alright.
All right. Contract labor. Let me see number. That is 166107. Who do we have as contract labor, right?
Our cleaning lady,
A cleaning lady?
Uh-huh.
And that's not under cleaning down here somewhere?
I don't think we have cleaning for City Hall.
I know there's clean in PD, I know there is.
Yes,
Yeah.
cleaning and PD has their line item, but I don't think that.
Oh, I do that one. Okay, so just cleaning lady.
How many times do they come? Once a
Uh,
week?
every other Friday. But she just, cleans back in. Because the hallway is the back, she doesn't have keys to the hall.
Okay. Cleaning. Okay,
I have one. 166148, library appropriation. I talked to Virginia Johnson. She is part of the library. She used to be their board president. She's been here many times. And they are struggling. They did give you this copy of their budget. And as you can see, $33,000, that's not much to keep that library going. So I would like to up their appropriation another $1,000 if we could. She told me that their summer reading programs and all the things that they do for their kids through the year has increased. She said we have record numbers. She said people are using the library to, I don't know if you know, a lot of the school kids, they have to have a parent portal. So people are coming in there to enroll their kids and set that up because they don't have a computer at home or they don't have access to it. So people are using that. They also have free Wi-Fi that people are able to use. They're using it for job applications and all kinds of things. So they're working on a shoestring here. They really are, and they do have a paid librarian. But that she told me they are struggling. So if we could up that in any way, I would love to see that happen for them.
You won't find any towns this size that have a library.
Yeah, we are
like
very
that.
lucky to have a library here in this
People
small
come from
town.
all over to go to that library.
They do.
very lucky for that library. And they do a lot for the community.
They do.
It's never even heard.
And
I
it,
know we're tight, we're pretty tight already, aren't we? So, I mean, what are we proposing? Really?
She wants it to go up to 8,000.
just raise it down to 7 to 8.
Believe me, every dime that's allotted to them, it gets spent on something that benefits our city. So,
Oh, I understand that. Well, hopefully they can get some of their other clubs too, maybe an increase.
166150, the senior resources. What is that going for?
I know it's Hunt County Senior Resources, but I'm not exactly sure if it's part of what we do, like the Meals on Wheels, help with Meals on Wheels for Hunt County residents. I'm not sure, I can ask.
Yeah, can you get an? We planning on using that the next month. And a half.
Because if we're not using it, that's where $1,000 in the library could come from. If we're not using it.
According to this, it doesn't show it's been used.
No,
I'm sure it was used last year.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty,
in the last 2 years.
the,
Last
that
2
would,
years.
that would basically cover the two changes we just.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
say, you're at 33,080, that's 2,090 of it.
Yeah, so if we're not using that, let's leave on these other two things. Chamber membership fee, I think it's gone up to 150.
Did it?
I believe you're right.
It's gone up to 150.
What is that?
Ready to go to page 5, or does anybody else have anything on 4?
Do we really think utilities are gonna go down?
No. No, we don't.
So we spent 13,911 and we're only budgeting 13.
Line item.
Oh, 129, 166, 129, page 4.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think the utilities are going to do
I might need to up that to like 15.
it. I think we probably need to.
166, 129.
Page 4.
We need to probably increase that.
I mean, because if we're at 13,911, we're gonna finish closer to 15.
Yeah.
I think so.
We got another month and a half to pay.
Especially with this heat.
So you're saying go up to 15?
Go up to 15.
I mean, that's probably gonna be the minimum, right?
Getting that close.
And right below it there, the property insurance.
Property insurance is 166,137.
We got some more to pay on that still.
Did they go up? Because last year we only paid 800.
Yeah, they've gone up.
Our property insurance? Yes.
Okay, so we got more payments to pay for that, so, yeah.
And we still got another payment on that general liability, you think?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like last year we ended up paying
Yeah.
1,082. We budgeted 1,200, so yeah, that's probably gonna come out just right.
Oh, there's 166,126.1, advertising for planning and zoning. Do they do advertising?
When we have to publish in the newspaper,
Oh, okay.
their opinion is only variance.
Gotcha.
Zoning change.
The zoning changes. Yeah, we do have to do something. Anything else on page 4? You lost that, John? Okay, so
Can we up that fire department appropriation by 500? That'll put them in line with the library.
I always have to ask this, what is the $100 under other? Do you know what that is for? Miscellaneous and other,
Yeah.
that's a question. I mean, I know it's $100, but
Still, that's $100.
What line are you at?
it's under 166,188.
So
It
they're
says
right, it's
other.
registration.
I don't like others. But what we did, we spend $100 on it that was spent this year.
You look at it.
And it wasn't that.
So it's something they bought around here, could be anything, that somebody's gonna take the time to put it in the right place.
See,
I thought we took this out. It's supposed to be
I
under
thought
that.
we nixed that line out. That needs to be gone. We don't even have another line item. We know what we're having to buy.
So the question is, what did we
Yeah,
spend?
what we spend it on, and can we get rid of that stinking other? Employment pre-screen. I mean, it's right under employment pre-screen.
I don't think it has anything to do with
I
that.
know, it doesn't really have its own line item is the whole thing. It's just. I bet Kim can find out for us.
I will.
We're in agreement so that we figure out what that was to do away with it.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, we can just delete. We're ready to go to code.
Shannon, you're up. It's code compliance, yes.
They're on yours.
Okay.
169,111 demolition. We haven't spent any of it the last 2 years. Is that because we've got the new, with BD, we've got the contract with BD?
No, but I think we're fixing to use some of it.
You are?
Yeah, I've been looking at some things. So I've had several demolished this year between accessory buildings, a couple houses. But the people they got a $50 demolition permit, they went and got their own dumpster, they hired somebody to do it, so it didn't cost us anything. But we have some that I'm looking at that are going to cost us.
Did we get your ordinances?
And we didn't have an ordinance for it.
Right,
We
we
got
gotta
that,
fix that.
we're square now, right?
We
with
have that fixed
I
now.
I was thinking I remember.
And then I've got a couple that might even be voluntary where the city does it and they pay the tipping fees. And I've been waiting on a contract that the city can enter into to cover us, with the individual for voluntary. I haven't gotten that, so I started doing my own research and I have one that I think will work. I'm gonna modify and start looking at that too.
And do we still have, I guess you could call it that perk that we got with sanitation solutions?
Before we get through the year.
Mhm, we still have that too?
Yeah, our problem was we didn't have the
Paperwork done.
legal, we didn't have the legal paperwork in
Well,
place
and
to
some of the
exercise.
problem is, I've got some that really, really need to come down, but you have to have a good notice, and everything comes back. So we have to figure out how to do airship, I guess, which is gonna cost money. You have to do an airship search. Because you have to notify all the heirs, and there's a lot of steps you have to go through. But, I mean, we have some specifically over here that you can see clean through the house, through the walls, but everything comes back on them, so I don't have good notice.
On these city cleanup dumpsters.
That is, I think, more or less where if people have a bunch of debris in their yard, junk, and they don't wanna clean it up even after we take it on, there's a way apparently for us to go in and clean it up. And that's where that's gonna come into play, and we have some that we're gonna have to use that on.
So that has nothing to do with the dumpsters out there, but
It does not.
Just like that one, the other one, I mean, at some point, it's a nuisance, it's a safety,
That's what I was.
it
gonna
should
say.
all overplay.
Instead of an air search, we can have a council dealing with the nuisance.
Yeah, it's a nuisance, it is a safety.
Demolish it, that way we'll go through If it has to go to the police department, even to get to do it. We'll figure out a way, President.
Yeah, bring it to us.
Yeah, I'd like to see that really moving forward.
Okay, so we're 169,110. We've got mowing again on this one. We'll be having mowing in two different places.
Well, the mowing on the other one was the.
That's an income.
That was the income.
This is the expense. So we're turning around and saying our expenses as much as our income on that.
Because it's kind of a new
That way we don't spend more.
moving, so we don't want to get caught.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a contract, like, you know, we're just gonna pay someone to do it. Everything on this one look good to y'all?
I think so.
Shannon, Chief?
Moving on, page six.
Yes. Everybody speak now for everyone to do.
Okay.
Are we on page 6?
Yep.
Page six.
Police department.
Oh, I have one on code enforcement still, 169,125, talk to Shannon. She lowered her budget to 4,000, but she needs it back at 5.
Yeah.
So she's got a lot of notices and things going out.
So,
Yes, 5,000 gonna be enough?
No.
well, right now I'm at 2,880. I've got a stack on my desk fixing to go out. I'm issuing a lot more tickets. So everything I send, you have to have a certified and a regular.
Well, hang on, all we're seeing is 97 or 977.
Right, I keep a running spreadsheet and I tell it to total. And I totaled it right before this meeting and it's $2,880 and nothing.
So are you gonna spend the 5 you got budgeted?
We got 4.
It's very possible,
No, I'm at the 5 for this year.
very possible.
Well, you figure certifieds are $9 with some
Yeah, it keeps going
certified
up.
letter.
Yeah.
So this needs to be 5,000 or 4,000?
Probably. I was gonna say 4, but after the last couple of weeks and the new postage increase, I think I'd leave it at 5.
So
I don't.
Do we need that vehicle repair and maintenance there? Their
Yes,
code enforcement got a truck?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an old police Tahoe.
So get something fixed on it before the budget year's up.
Well, that's gonna probably, once it's all
of
the
course,
other
the animal
things,
control is that
a
contract.
smaller SUV.
Here,
for
and
code
two.
enforcement.
And then you got the miscellaneous $100.
Okay. We'd like to take miscellaneous out of every budget.
I actually don't know why that's in there.
Okay.
So can we take that line out too?
Yes,
I wrote down mine myself, so I see it's in there.
We want to know where things go.
Everything is called something.
Yeah. I don't think we need others and miscellaneous. We
Well,
want to know
you
exactly where it's spent.
Yeah, but hold mine out of it.
All right.
Police department.
Chief, you're up next. Okay. So we're still looking at 4 on the police department.
Yeah, we've got 4 now, and what I'm looking for is a part-time. Because if you look at the overtime,
Uh-huh.
with a part-time, I think it would cut down a lot of the overtime on the other officer, because it's actually time and a half when you work overtime.
Right.
Another officer would work, straight time, just straight pay.
Part-time.
32 hours a week.
Yeah, so we don't have to provide insurance. That's to do.
Yeah.
So it can't come out ahead then.
Provide them insurance.
Yeah.
That's a ton of money right there.
Oh, yeah.
Still,
The only way is if, like, the sergeant, you know, if he has his own insurance and retirement and stuff, he don't take it from the city. So, I'm a part-time that does that. would be.
Would be nice. It would be
Oh, that'd be
nice
cool.
if they have their own insurance. It'd be really good.
But cutting out the overtime would help pay for some of that,
Well, I think
if we need the officer.
might make your officers a little happier
Yeah.
too, because they're not having to work. That, and honestly, it's hard sometimes to get officers that are willing to work the overtime because they've got these off-duty jobs.
Yeah.
Can't hold that against them, because,
Oh, they can go make a ton of money.
good gosh, some of these guys, yeah.
But in reality, Chief, how much of that is that they're actually staying late or they're having to come back in because they're on a case or a call or, I mean, is that really gonna be something that you're gonna be able to change with a part-time officer?
I believe so, because the way, because most of it, a lot of it happens on the weekends. And rather than officer gets a call at 5 minutes until he gets off, the other officer would already be on shift and take that call, and then that officer goes home.
It's all due to schedule.
Yeah, it would all be up to his, like, right, I think the other day, the officer got a call, and he gets off at 2, and I think it was like 12:33 in the morning, and wound up arresting someone, so that takes 2 hours, so.
Okay.
And
You have enough for postage too? That's not very much considering the price of per postage.
He bought it from her,
That's why Shannon's is so high.
we don't hardly use postage. We do everything email.
Email, okay.
I think Shannon borrows some of my overtime, so I'm borrowing the postage.
Yeah, my overtime was like almost 3,000 this year. And I budgeted for 1,000.
Hang on, did we miss something?
Yeah.
it is.
No, we asked you a while ago to speak up, and you just sat over there and be quiet.
I don't blame
You said it was 3,000?
Almost.
You're at 17. You're at 3.
you. You got that on your spreadsheet? It's a lot higher than 17.
You better put in that.
I mean, we don't even have-
If you're
we
doing
don't even have an
3,000 now,
actual.
you know you're gonna do that much next year too.
So, yeah, we're
Our
back
actual's
to
500.
page 5, 169, 100.
Yeah. 169,
Nothing's on the actuals,
100.
budgeted 17.
Nothing's on the actuals. Why is that?
Well, we got 500 for overtime on the actual.
No, that was merit increase.
See, isn't that
Oh,
budgeted
no,
1,000
I'm
last year?
sorry, I was off on that. Yeah, so originally that's what I.
Do you think your actuals right now are at what?
3,000.
Almost 3.
When does that get turned in to get put on this?
I'm going off my check stub.
Do you know why that would be late?
Should go with the payroll bills, right?
I
Question.
think,
Let's go ahead and change that to 3,000, because you know if you spent that.
because look over at the police department overtime, and I think what's happened is code's taken out of there, is why we're at
That's what I'm thinking too.
Okay.
89
Some
overtime.
purpose out of that instead of coming out of
it's
So we all
at the
agree
end
we bump that up to 3,000
3,000, yeah.
overtime?
3,000, yeah.
And that should help the police department level out.
Yeah,
Well,
because
yeah,
I think what's gonna, it'll change on when the final comes out, because it'll
Yeah.
actually come out in the code.
Yours will come back down closer to that 5.
Well, yeah, I mean, it looks like we budgeted 1,000, and there's nothing showing, so that'll help a little bit too.
Yes.
Whenever we line those lines back up, so 3,000 on our overtime. Okay, now we go back to the police
I think
department.
our overtime too, because that was all.
Glad you spoke up, girl.
Trying to catch up and stuff and trying to build stuff. We might go in a little bit.
She's gonna get left in the dust back there, wasn't she?
She was, yeah.
All right, so we were looking at the police department postage. We didn't care because he steals Shannon's.
So cheap.
Actually, when I go post theirs, I put it under police.
I'm just kidding.
They just don't have a whole lot of mail usually.
Travel and training. How much training do we need for these guys to be doing, every year? That didn't seem like very much.
Well, because a lot of the training they take is, we got one place that, we do it online, and a lot of the classes are free.
Is that gonna be enough to cover your chief school travel and all that? I know you said the school part was
The
gonna,
school part's free.
all we gotta pay for is the actual traveling part of it, right?
Travel and,
So you should be good.
Yeah, but hotels, where are you going for the training? Because hotels can be really expensive.
Corpus, right?
I'll drive down there and see my
Isn't it
truck.
Corpus?
If it's
in
in Corpus,
Corpus,
then
no.
you're looking at
So
about
it's,
$200 a night.
Yeah, I was gonna say close to 3.
Padre House.
He stays at the Motel 6. It's okay.
Even more.
So you're gonna, yeah, I mean, you're gonna be pushing, is it all week, 5 days, 5 nights, or how many nights?
Yep. All week long, 40 hours.
So that's gonna be a good, probably 1,200 in a hotel expense plus all your food.
Yeah.
Are you sure
Well,
12?
I give a discount for the Limo. Chief school,
Yeah,
so they give a discount because if you pre-register, because it won't be until the middle of next year.
right.
If I pre-register now, then you gotta be a discount on it.
So you think 2,000 is gonna cover that and any other training?
Well, look right underneath at that next line item, it says training grant. Does that factor into that?
Yeah.
It would?
It's a state grant
700?
given to,
Oh, actually, there's a travel training too. Let's see, travel.
1711. Training.
Yeah.
That's the one we started out.
2,700 basically is what you have total.
and the only reason that,
But
last
we're
year's,
using that as an expense. That 700 is an expense, not not an income. So
yeah.
I thought that
It's
was-
a-
He don't have
it's an
any
expense.
That's what we were talking about, was the expense of of his travel expenses, yeah. It's 2,700 is what he has total allowance for expenses.
All his income goes in the general.
You think you're good with that?
Yeah, because, the only reason that it's over on the 22 is because I had to have, you have to have within the first 2 years, you have to have new chief school, so I had to go for a week in new chief school and pay for it. And then right after that, the 2 years was coming up, so I had to have the, regular chief school.
Okay,
So and that was 2 schools within 2 months.
I got you.
So from now on, it'll only be 1 school every 2 years. So
All right. Yeah, I like, you bumped your fuel up.
you know, I don't get, since I'm salary, I don't get paid for this school.
anything else on page 6 that you want to discuss?
Vehicle repair, I mean, see the two original Chargers, they're gonna be getting a little older this next year.
Yeah.
And your Tahoe, you plan on keeping it.
Yeah.
We sure that 2,000 is gonna,
That's for equipment on the bottom page. Vehicles on the next
You
page.
guys pay gas, so.
or 3,000, I'm sorry.
And we spent 13.
But the equipment repair, that's for your stuff inside the vehicles, right?
Radios.
I mean,
And that ain't gonna really, because after purchasing all that new equipment, it's under a 5-year warranty. So it's all free replacement.
the radio's a whole other story. Our radios don't work.
Yeah, but we're looking into a grant.
I know.
The radios.
And
No, I'm talking about, yeah.
So they're gonna be,
So y'all ready to move on to page 7 then?
I think so.
Vehicle maintenance and repairs.
That was awful low
Actual
to me.
13,000. Probably do three, unless they got it in good shape.
Looks very low to me.
Y'all think we need to bump that vehicle repair up any?
There's two of them. I think we got 3,000.
What you got, what did we do this year? What got us way up there? We're 13,000 spent.
And one car total.
8,000 over budget.
We had one car total, didn't we?
No, nothing total. No, everything got fixed, but
And I don't know if that was spinning out and then reversed, because when the Charger got wrecked, and the insurance paid for it though. So I don't know how, because I don't know nothing, we had that much repair on the Charger.
well, I mean, it may bring up a concern that we need to make sure that any money that came back from the insurance company that we may have paid out got put back into this line.
Put on the wrong line now.
Yeah,
You know, it should have been for,
okay. I just know that the two Chargers are gonna be older this next year, and then your Tahoe.
So what are your miles on your different cars?
Let's see, the newest one's got less than 10,000 miles.
It's a 21 or 2, one, and then the other ones are what?
They're, I think one was at 71, the other was 74.
And what,
Five years.
what year are those cars?
19.
Okay. And then your Tahoe was a 19?
It's an 18.
18.
It's at 117,000. It's brand new transmission.
That's worth a lot.
We-
There you go.
We didn't have to pay for it.
There's-
it was under warranty,
Oh, good.
92,000, so.
Yeah, he got,
When
he
do they go
got
off
a
warranty?
warranty transmission.
What?
When do they go off warranty?
There's only one's under warranty right now.
Well, the Chargers are under 100,000 for power.
Powertrain, yeah.
So transmission and motor is under warranty still on them now, but as far as the electronic stuff, and all of that, 35. So the new car's the only one that's under, still 4.
Yeah, that means the Chargers probably next year will lose that benefit, that powertrain
Yes.
benefit.
Don't change the transmission.
Yeah.
So you're good with the 3,000?
Yeah.
And you're gonna look and see what our actuals of 13,000, why that's so high.
Yeah, let's see why that's.
Just real quick, I know that the PD's the last one we're doing, but when we're done with PD, before we adjourn, I do have one thing within us.
Okay.
Right now.
171998 animal control, we just remove that.
Yeah.
Since we've got the
Oh,
dog,
yeah.
et cetera.
And the miscellaneous.
Yeah.
And again, what is that? It's
I
been
don't know.
charged there.
Where
Freaks me
Yeah.
was I at? Dang it, right here.
171998. 171999.
Kim, we probably need to look at, on the police, 171123. I know we bought more than $175 worth of tires.
Yeah, probably ain't hit yet.
Yeah,
They just got-
they are 723.
That's uniforms.
You looking at-
I need to get me a damn,
Ruler.
I had one at home and I forgot it.
Even that seems low.
That is
what we.
No, 723, well,
Well, I just bought,
so you
8
just
tires
bought
for the
some.
cars, and that was $900 for 8 tires. And then for my Tahoe was $450.
So you think 1,500 would be enough to keep up with 4 cars next year?
Probably not.
Probably not.
That's where I was going. I'm thinking that's 1,000 off.
It's 1,500.
At least 1,000 off, ain't it? Maybe, you think we need to make it 3,000?
I'd raise it to 3.
I'll raise it to 3.
Everything in the world is going up
Yeah,
every day.
Well, he's getting them at a good deal because he's buying them through a government contract.
But still, it may be even more
Yeah.
next year, because I know we bought tires recently.
So we're gonna increase that to 1,500.
3,000.
That's the only question I had on that.
Yeah, because
What is
with
this
now-
in the, that says add in-town expense? 10,000, what is that for?
John's gonna impound
He's
lot.
planning on putting in a city impound lot to where all the vehicles that get impounded will come here.
So what will you spend that 10,000 on parking?
It would be,
Gates, fence?
yeah, fencing, security, we got to send out registered letters, on the vehicles. It'll cover all the, most of the expenses and stuff.
Okay,
So what-
your postage doesn't need to go back up?
Postage needs to go registered letters.
Yeah.
So what happens to those vehicles if they don't come and get them? Do we have a place we
auction
take
them.
them? We auction them?
Yeah, when we get about 20 cars, we do like, I was over at East Walking, and that's what we did about every 3 or 4 months. If we got 20 cars, then we have an auction on this auction.
So we wanna go backwards and increase postage.
Yeah, I think we better.
Because it's on income too. Under income, it's also under impounds for 10,000 of
Yeah.
income coming in from it. But then because it has to be built with fence and stuff, the 10,000 outcome.
So do we need to upgrade your postage amount? Since you're gonna have to be sending registered letters and all that from the
Well, I
impound?
think that was gonna come out of the income fees that come in, we'll pay for it. That's part of impound, is gonna pay for the postage on the registered letters for you, rather than just registered letters for general.
I
got you.
I got,
I got you.
it's gonna take care of itself.
So that
That's why,
money,
it
so
don't take
if
care of itself when you listen to that.
you have to hire an auctioneer to auction the vehicles off, that'll come out of those fees too?
It'll
Go
get
back
paid
in.
out of the vehicle sale.
But what I do is,
Okay.
over at East Walking, we just took seal bid on it and opened up, big saying letters, posted in the newspaper, and
Okay,
whoever had opened it up and had the highest bid, they get the car.
gotcha. Okay.
All right, so this was through with that.
Back to.
Michael, what was yours, buddy?
Public Works.
So I can't believe this slipped my mind. We don't have an income line item for dumping trash.
For when people come up and ask to go dump?
Whether they pay the $30 to $60,
Oh,
we have no income for that.
Where's that being?
So the money is now going, what, miscellaneous? So the money's going into a miscellaneous income instead of a line item that says trash dumping.
So we need that under our income.
Yes,
Definitely.
you don't want it going miscellaneous. You want to be able to account for it. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the only other thing I see is other income. Well, that's all those.
anyways, I thought, since the next time we get together, it's going to be to finalize all this. Let's go ahead and do that now.
I'm not seeing where it would go now.
Well, there's no line item for it.
On page 2,
Says other.
it would go over into, before total income, it would go in, like, add a line for.
No, I'm saying, I don't know where it would have been going already.
Where has it been going?
There is.
Well, there is
Miscellaneous
some
and
confusion
water
as to where it's been going, but I was told it's been going miscellaneous.
It's in your public works miscellaneous.
Oh, it's in public works miscellaneous?
It's in
General fund. General fund.
So it needs to be in public
In
works.
public works, then it's their general fund.
It goes in your, in general fund, under your public works department, where it says miscellaneous, is where it goes in general.
So it's going in general.
What number is it?
Public works.
174,999.
Thank you. So we've only took in $139.63.
No, we have to,
Exactly,
No.
that's what I'm saying. So we need to figure out where that's going and if
It's going in.
it says we've taken in 390, but it's got to be a lot more than that.
where you see it.
Okay, so
174,999.
General fund, general fund.
This one, right there.
171,999.
174,
I heard one.
Look right above the red.
Hey, Jake.
I heard 171. That's what I heard. was
Maybe
one.
mine glasses.
But it's still $390. Yeah, I mean, crap, I think I paid 100 this year.
Ah, all right, so I need to make a correction.
That's right here.
I need to make a correction. So we
know where
found
it
it.
is.
It's going under water sewer,
Number.
which is 125 2111.
In water sewer.
In water sewer.
Yes, and I apologize. That's 1,848.74. So we need to add the line item in water sewer, and I apologize. It's not general fund.
Well, why we need to add a line item?
Well,
So
it's
it won't
going
be
under
under
miscellaneous so that we
Instead
know
of
what the
saying
income is.
miscellaneous, say
Well,
dog.
change it from miscellaneous, because miscellaneous is kind of heinous.
So I'm gonna put dumpster fees.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just change the
It's
name.
just truck fee, truck trailer fee.
All right, so that
What
made
the
that
heck
simple.
is
We'll just change
miscellaneous?
that.
The name of the
Dumpster
department
fee.
needs to be out of water.
Is it
Right?
gonna
I
be,
mean,
this
what
is
is
gonna be
miscellaneous?
So what are we
dump
naming it?
fee, not dumpster fee, right?
Dumpster
Dump
fee.
fee.
Dumpster fee,
Dump
dump fees?
Duck fee?
Yes.
Fees, okay.
I don't know what the miscellaneous is anyway.
Should be,
Miscellaneous is a dump fee.
to be plainer, it's where the citizens are paying to go dump, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
should it just say like citizens dump fee?
Well, we got it, but
Then
we're
you
trying to
have-
label it just duck fee.
Well, but you really don't know what that is. You have to ask every time, what is the dump fee?
Truck or trailer.
So somebody has to say, well, it's when the people come out and pay to dump their trash. So if you say citizen dump fee, that means the citizens are paying to dump.
Residential dumpster.
Works for me.
It's just plainer English anyway,
Residential.
plainer.
Citizen dump
That's
fee.
getting
Residential.
More
dumpster.
good?
more good.
Residential, that sounds good.
Residential sounds
Well,
Resident
that's
dump
fine,
fee.
legal residential, citizen dump. So you don't have to ask what the dump fee.
Well, I think you'd have to say citizens, because some of our,
No.
I don't think we couldn't deny our business owners to dump.
Absolutely.
So you can't say residential.
No, I just said residential.
I would say citizens.
Citizen, yeah. That's a good term. Citizen.
I mean,
Citizens dump fee.
All right, so are we through with general fund then?
yeah, I think,
Anything else that we need to address on these budgets?
I'm aware of.
So does this mean we don't have to have a meeting tomorrow night?
Well, we have to have a final meeting,
We have to? Okay.
Have the final meeting.
but we should be out here in 5 minutes.
Say, is that good? Are you gonna be ready?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Or does
I'm good.
Will we be,
Cheryl
will
will
you
entertain a
be?
motion.
you just need
I
to,
make a motion we adjourn.
nickname her heel.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Kevin Featherston.
Pam Reed.
Okay.
You all?
Good night.